People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life.
I like Wes Iseli. I like everything about him.
All right. This week, it's just Natalie and I again. And one of the things we ask our magic guests is funny stories, disaster stories. And that sounds like that would get old. But the way people take it in 50 different directions, those two questions right there alone.
Some of them are pretty funny. Like, I'm sure it wasn't funny during and when it was happening, but looking back, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, always looking back, it makes a difference. But I was thinking, we ask our guests these, do you have any disaster stories? And we haven't gone over many of ours. And when I told Natalie, all right, let's go over our disaster stories, she's like, oh, that sounds bad.
No, you said we have lots of them. And I'm like, boy, that makes us sound horrible.
But it's not like messing up in the show. It's like our car getting sabotaged and the wheels going off the car at 90 miles an hour and flying down the interstate past us and things like that. But today we're not talking about a disaster story like that. I was thinking about sickness stories and injury stories of performing through sickness and performing through injuries today.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So the first one I thought about was me at Massanutten and the whole stairs incident.
See, they're funny when you look back on them.
No, why is it funny? Daggone, I was so mad. Now, that kept me up at nighttime because I was thinking, those people at Massanutten, they weren't doing their job. They weren't watching. They should have seen everything that took place, and they should have protected me. And
but at the same time, it was the kids sitting up front, and the parents sat them down with a drink in their hands.
So here's the thing. Natalie and I, for a long time, our show doesn't really have that theme anymore, but for a long time we had like an I Love Lucy theme. And a couple times throughout the show, I would ask for a prop, and Natalie, wink, wink, left it in the dressing room, or I had to go backstage to get a prop that she forgot. And during that time, I would run backstage behind the curtain. Now, I might be just standing behind the curtain, or I have 6 minutes. I might actually go to the dressing room and take a sip of soda or go to the bathroom. Who knows? I could do whatever I want. I know I have 6 minutes. Well, at Massanutten, there is no backdrop. There is no
backstage.
The back curtain is actually the curtain for the window.
Right.
So I have to run through the crowd, up a set of stairs in a ski lodge to a loft above us. And then there's a bathroom and like an overhang loft that I can see back down in the show. And I would just sit on a couch up there for 6 minutes. And then I would come running back through the audience just like I would running back on stage. Like, oh, sorry, it took me so long. You know, the dressing room door's locked or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this night at Massanutten, I ran through the crowd and up the stairs, and I'm sitting on the couch. All right, everything's fine. Natalie's getting ready to do her piece. And sometimes I sneak photos up there. It gives me a chance to take some photos of Natalie on stage, which is great. I run back through the stage, and I've been doing this every week. We have a 14-week contract. This might have been week 11, so I know exactly what I do. And it's 3 or 4 steps up onto the stage. I don't need steps. I'm in a hurry. I'm going to avoid the steps. And I take a leap. A leap of faith is what I like to call it at this point. But I plant my foot and jump. And when I planted my foot in front of 350 people, 300 people that day, some kid had spilled drink. And my foot just went right out from underneath of me. And I Superman the steps. Yeah. My arms were open wide and just chest, boom, onto the thing. It knocked the breath out of me.
You told me later, you said, I sat there for a minute. I was like, no, you didn't. You hit and you popped right back up. I saw you hit and I was about to come out to you, but you popped up, boing, right back up off the thing. It might have seemed like forever to you in your head, but you popped right back up. So I was like, well, I guess he's all right.
And then I went
trying to whisper, you all right? You all right?
And then I went on stage and said, sorry it took me so long. The dressing room door's locked. And I always pant like I'm running because sometimes I'm just walking behind a curtain. So I always pant like I've been running from the dressing room, hurrying to get out there. And I do the whole show. Afterwards, I'm signing autographs. Natalie's selling stuff. After the last person leaves, I sit on the steps and I go, ow. It knocked the breath out of me. And I told Natalie, I couldn't believe it. Several people asked me, did I do that in my show? They thought that was part of my show.
You do that every week? Wow, that's some physical comedy.
No.
No?
No. No. I thought my ribs were broken, though. Man,
But you were good. They might have been bruised or something, but they weren't broken.
No.
Because you felt better after a day or two.
No, you know about broken ribs. Let's get into that.
Yes, I do. It's a horrible story. It's not like I'm saving anybody or anything. I just fell on.
All right, okay,
Fell
so
down.
let's set it up. Lana was an infant.
Yeah, she was a baby.
And it was summertime, and we only have a couple days off during the summer, even just a couple hours off to get errands run before or after shows.
And I think this was after a show.
And I know it's summertime.
We were in the Magic Van.
I knew it was summertime. There was a grocery store, the Food Lion is what we had near our old house, and my Magic Van was parked in the spot closest to the front window, and from the checkout line, I could see Natalie in the car. I could see her looking down at her phone. I could see her. I mean, you could see. It's right there. But you have to cross a 2-lane drive, I guess. And I got the groceries she asked me to get. She stayed in the car with the baby with the air conditioner on. And I'll go to the thing to pay, and it's not accepting my credit card. My scanner's not working. The magnetic skips. Something's wrong. Something's not working. So I pick up my phone and I call Natalie. I say, hey, Natalie, I'm sorry. Can you just run your credit card into me? I got groceries here on the counter. I don't want the lady. You're right there. Just bring me a credit card.
And I said, can't you come to the car? Lana's in here. She's sleeping. I don't want to take her out. She just went to sleep. And it was one of those days where it was cranky baby and finally got her to sleep. And I didn't want to wake her up. And he's like, no, just run it in. Just leave her in the car. Leave her in the car?
It's right there. I can see her. She's 15 feet away. Well, Natalie ran in, threw the card at me.
Against my better judgment, I did it. But I was scared to death.
She threw the card at me.
Literally.
And then, and then she ran. And I'm sitting there talking to the cashier. I don't know what's wrong with this card. I got to get a new card. Scanning the new one, putting the new password in and everything. Getting my groceries, loading on my arms. I walk out of the store. La, 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 la. I look across to Natalie, and it looks like she's in tears. And I'm walking across the road. I mean, 15 feet.
White, very pale.
And I open up her door, and she is sobbing. What the heck happened? I just saw you 2 seconds ago. What happened? Well, tell everybody what happened.
So I ran the card in, and I was scared to death of leaving Lana in the car by herself. So I ran back out, and I'm looking at the car because you don't know. Things can happen quickly. So I'm looking at the car to make sure that, nobody's in the car.
There's glass all over the front of this building. No, you can see out to the car the entire time.
I'm a first-time mom of a little tiny baby, and you should never leave your baby in the car. So you convinced me to do something stupid, and this is what happens to me.
7 seconds.
I run outside, and they have speed bumps. But these speed bumps are those stupid speed bumps that aren't like smooth humps.
They're like recycled tires.
Yeah, and no, it's not. It's hard though. It's not like bouncy like a tire.
No,
it's hard and it is square.
And it's chopped off at the ends instead of being asphalt where they
slowly bring it down on a hill.
This is made on a line, and they chop it like they're chopping bread at the end.
So I was looking up at the van and not looking where my feet were going, just thinking I'm crossing a road, I'm getting to the van, I'm running, and I trip over the dang speed bump, and I fell on my ribs, knocked the breath out of me, and there were people crossing the road, and they went, oh, and I just looked up at them, and I just got up, and I ran back to the van. I was like, I can't stop and be looked at and, are you okay? Are you okay? I can't answer you right now. I gotta get back to the car. Make sure that Lana's not screaming at the top of her lungs, that everything's okay with her. And then I get in the car, I'm like, oh, that hurt. And the pain set in, and I just started bawling. It hurt. It hurt to breathe. It hurt to move.
But you hit the speed bump. Describe how you hit the speed bump. You didn't hit it like a car would hit it. You went on this end. So how would you describe that?
So my foot hit like the end of the speed bump.
You usually look at
in the middle where a car goes over, the end that was chopped off and like facing the sidewalk. And it's, 3-4 inches tall. And so I tripped on that and I fell long ways. So it's kind of like I fell on the speed bump from the tip of my head to the bottom of my toes. My whole body was on the speed bump. That's how I fell on the speed bump. But it hurt my ribs. And so after a few days of not feeling better, went to the doctor and they took x-rays and I had cracked my ribs. I had cracked a couple ribs. And, there's nothing they can do. They were like, well, do I wrap it? And they're like, no, that actually can cause worse problems. We don't recommend doing that anymore. So I think they might have given me some pain medication or something that I was able to take because Lana was less than a year old, so I was still breastfeeding her. And so, anyway.
And still, we had to cram her in boxes several times a week.
We were in the middle of summer, so we were doing illusions at least at Massanutten every week, plus other places a lot of times. And so I'm getting crammed in boxes with broken ribs and going, ow, yow, 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 the whole time in my head. It wasn't comfortable. But it is what it is.
I went back to Food Line the next week, and I asked, is there a manager here? Sir, I'm not going to sue you guys, or I'm not going to cause a scene or anything, but the way your speed bumps are cut, my wife tripped on it sideways crossing the street where you're supposed to cross. If a senior citizen's out here, you're going to get in trouble. I said, we're not going to sue you or anything, but she's got broken ribs. I just want to let you know. And they got rid of those speed bumps.
Did they?
Yeah, they got rid of them. So I don't know
if that's the
if
reason
that
or
freaked
not.
them out or not. Because
yeah.
maybe somebody said, ask them, have you heard about that woman? Is she okay? And then I come in there and say, yep, they're broken.
Yeah.
That freaked them out. But I'm not going to sue somebody over silliness, but I want to let people know that you should have it where it comes up at a ramp maybe on the other end.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
That wasn't fun. That was painful.
But the show must go on. And you had to get crammed in those boxes, and you took it like a trooper.
Mm-hmm. I tried.
Another summer, Natalie just woke up and she said, I have an itchy spot. I think I have poison ivy.
It was on my face. I woke up at like 6 or 7 in the morning. No, it was whenever the doctor's open. So when do they open? 8? I woke up at 8, used the bathroom, and my face was itchy. And I look in the mirror, and there's just splotches on my face. I'm like, oh dear.
Now this is another summer. Lana's 4 at this point, 3 or 4.
Yeah. And I was thinking, oh dear, I've gotten poison ivy, and I'd had it before, and I'm highly allergic. As in, they had to put me on steroids. They took me off steroids, and the poison ivy came back. Not different poison ivy, same spots. And so they had to do some sort of cream or something, and all sorts of different things. So I am very, very, very leery of poison ivy. And so I called the doctor right away, and I was like, I need to come in for poison ivy. I'm sure I have it, and I'm very leery. I'm very highly allergic to it. Please help me. And so I went in, they're like, yeah, that looks like poison ivy. And so they did something. They gave me something. I don't remember what it was, but it wouldn't go away.
Like topical steroids.
And it started spreading. And I knew I hadn't hit any more poison ivy. Knew I had showered, so it shouldn't be going anywhere. I had, washed all my clothes that I thought maybe had gotten poison ivy on them, like if I cut the grass or something. So I knew it wasn't new poison ivy, but it started spreading, and it was spreading everywhere. Everywhere. Every inch of my body.
It was keeping her up at night.
I was extremely itchy. So I went back to the doctor, and he's like, this isn't poison ivy. So he sent me to
He started looking up medical books, though.
He brought in the other doctor, and they both looked, and they're like, yeah, this isn't poison ivy.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
This
and
isn't
so
good.
I was like, oh dear. So they sent me to the
dermatologist.
Yeah, I'm like, skin doctor. What is that called? Yeah, dermatologist. So go to the dermatologist, and they look at it and go, oh, we're going to take a biopsy to figure out what it is. I was like, okay. In the meantime, you can get, we'll prescribe you something to help you sleep. I was like, okay, well, good, because I could not sleep for how itchy it was. And I was taking Benadryl around the clock, and Benadryl knocks me out, but I couldn't go to sleep during shows. So I was awake and working on Benadryl, quite woozy.
You did great, though, because I would have been asleep. I would have been lethargic and drooling.
Yeah.
You made it. You were awake.
That's how desperate I was, though, taking Benadryl during the day, because I never do that because it knocks me out. But anyway, so they gave me pills so I'd be able to sleep at night through the itchiness. And 2 weeks later, I come back and they have no idea what it was. No clue. They said, we thought it was some sort of cancer. And I was like, what? Why didn't you tell me that when I was here last time? And then I got thinking about it. Now, it was probably good they didn't tell me that's what they were thinking, because then I would have been really worried. So anyway, they have no clue. No idea what it is. They said, what have you eaten new? Did you buy new clothes, tried new detergent, done this, that, or the other thing? And nothing. I mean, it was summertime, so it wasn't like we were trying out anything new. It was
summertime is very
same old.
Summertime is everything's the same. You get up, you go to different places, but it's very regimented.
Yeah, the food, we pack breakfast and lunch, and we might get dinner out, but it's always something quick and never something new and experimental. Not during the summer. And so there was nothing new I had eaten. Our detergent was staying the same. I had bought no new clothes and not washed them and worn them. No new beauty products, anything like that. So I racked my brain and I couldn't think of anything. And they still have no clue. And it just went away eventually on its own.
But you had it for how long, you think?
I had it for a while, because they were like, oh, well, the spots that we saw 2 weeks ago are starting to go away. And I was like, yes, but look at these 5 spots. They're brand new as of yesterday. Well, don't worry. It'll go away eventually. Oh, gosh. Like,
yeah.
When's eventually?
And they drew with pen on her back to see if they would grow or shrink or whatever, so they could try to do that. And they did the biopsy on one of these whelps underneath her bra line in her back. And she still has a scar back there.
Yeah, they just did it along my bra line. They're like, that way it'll be underneath, bra line, underneath bikini at the beach. Leave a little scar, but...
You would think they could do a tiny little cut that wouldn't leave a scar at all.
No, I still have a scar.
Yeah, that's tiny, though. And it's under your bikini line, so whatever.
Yeah. But, yeah, so that was fun. And then we had lots of shows, because, summertime. And so
we have video of us performing at a resort, and I can never remember the name of it, but
in West Virginia, right?
I know the president has a bunker there in case something goes down. That's one of the places he can hide.
Fancy schmancy
and I
hotel.
can't remember the name of it, but I was editing video footage from season 2 and us doing Metamorphosis on that stage, and Natalie looked at the video and looked at me and she said, yep, I was on the pink pills.
I was on Benadryl that day.
Yeah, I was on Benadryl that day. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll never forget that show, because, man, it was everything I could do to stay awake.
I was miserable and itchy and tired. Tired because you had to take Benadryl all day, and then also tired because I couldn't sleep at night because I was so itchy. It would just keep me awake. It was awful. I hope that... And that's the horrible thing of not knowing what it was. Because if it comes back one day...
It's like that monkey on your shoulder.
Yeah.
When is he going to attack again?
If it comes back one day, I have no idea what it is. And I don't want to have to go through that again. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's just some sort of fluke thing I must have touched outside that I will never run into ever again. And I don't know. Ugh, it was horrible.
Well, anyway, another story we were going to tell you about was... At our old house, we were on city water. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know, explain the water. Why was it so bad?
Oh, they called it Kidney Stone Central, is what the doctor called it.
Like Central Virginia.
Yeah, it's the home of kidney stones, apparently. I don't know if it's hard water or what it is, what it has in it, but a lot of people get kidney stones. So we switched to all bottled water after this.
So anyway, I had kidney stones, and what scared me was like that monkey on Natalie's shoulder with these hives. I was afraid that it was going to attack me in the middle of the show, because the way the kidney stone pain was, it was like an on-off switch. It could happen anytime. And so anyway, I was just afraid that these painful things would hit me at some point. So I'm having kidney stones, and I go to the doctor, and they're like, hey, yeah, you have kidney stones, but you should be able to pass it. And I come back 2 years later, and they're like,
there's no way that this is the same kidney stone, but it's big enough that we need to take it out.
But
you were like, but it's been on and off for how long? 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm sure you passed the others, but this one, because it had gotten worse and worse and coming back more and more frequently. So. And
when it hit you, when that pain hit you, man, you couldn't sit upright, you couldn't lay down right. It hurt when you walked, it hurt when you sat. I'd get in the bathtub and try to put, real hot bath and try to soak in the bathtub, try to get in a hot tub. Nothing, you couldn't get comfortable.
We took him to the emergency room one night. The pain was so bad because he got up and I was like, "Are you okay? You need to go to the doctor." He's like, "No, I'm going to be fine." And then it got so bad, he woke me up in the middle of the night because he stayed out in the living room. And I went to bed and Lana was in bed and he came and got me. He said, I gotta go. I gotta go to the doctor. I said, okay. So I gave him some Tylenol to help. I think we had tried that early. Well, no, not earlier. It was probably before we left. And when we get to the emergency room, by the time we get back there, he's like, yeah, I feel better now. He said, yeah, Tylenol probably kicked in. And then they did whatever sort of scan that they did. And they said you had kidney stones and you probably passed it. It'll just be a little while.
But it's so weird how that pain just goes away. Because by the time I got there, I felt stupid for being there. But when I was at the house, it felt like somebody had a knife in my back and it wouldn't let go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so fast forward 2 years. It's come back and they're saying, all right, well, here's what we can do. We can blast it with water and some kind of sonic stuff. And that's 70% fix. And then you'll pass, smaller stones. Or we can just go in and surgically remove it. And I'm so freaked out about missing a show because of this stupid pain. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in the pain, you can't hide it. It's not like I'm in the car and I'm going, and it takes my breath away and I'm loud. So you can't be in the middle of the show and fake it. There's no hiding it. And so I told them surgery. And then they told me that they go in through my woohoo and pull it out. And I already signed the paperwork. I thought they were going to cut me open and rip it out. But anyway, so they had to schedule the surgery, and we had a show at Hyatt Regency Resort in Cambridge, Maryland. And did I drive up? I think I drove up.
You drove up because you were fine on the way up. Nothing was going on. By the time we got there, you weren't feeling the best. And by the time the show happens...
I know I peed blood before the show started.
And I set up most of the show. And then after the show, you laid there and I took down the whole show. And I loaded everything I could load by myself.
And then she drove all the way home.
And I drove home, yeah. I mean, there's stuff I can't load by myself, so I know you helped with some of it.
But we're telling stories about, being tough and, I crashed on the steps and jumped up. And Natalie broke her ribs and got into boxes and just sucked up the pain and, the hives and being itchy. But kidney stone, stuff like that, man, you can't, there's no, it'd be like you performing people, I know it's nowhere near, but during labor pains, people compare it to the type of pain.
Yeah. I've
heard that. I don't know. I don't know if you'd agree.
Yeah, I haven't.
But you can't hide that.
Gone into labor, but I haven't had
But could you hide that? Could you be on stage?
No, I couldn't hold the camera up when I was in labor with the boys. So how would I be able to?
So, it was luckily...
Maybe if it was early labor.
I was really worried. That during the show, it was going to hit me full blown. But before the show, I'm like, I better go try. Because the other thing with kidney stones is it doesn't let you have a full bladder release. You
feel like you have to go all the time. And so I go in there and I just pee blood. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And then I'm fine during the show. And then right after the show, I don't know if it was adrenaline or what. But man, I was out. So anyway, that's some... But they went in and they took the kidney stone out. And they said, oh, no, this is the kidney you've had one kidney stone the whole time. You've had kidney stone issues. As big as it is and as much damage as it's done up there.
It stuck into the wall and it grew on it.
We didn't think so. We thought that was ridiculous. That you had to have passed a kidney stone at some point in the 2 years. But they said, looking at it, this is it. You've had one stone and it's just gotten humongous. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So and then I had to keep a stent in extra.
For longer because of the damage it had done. Yeah.
It was awful. And they gave me some kind of pain medicine. And how long was I? Was it 2 weeks?
No, it might have seemed like 2
I don't
weeks
know.
to you, but it was like 5 days.
5 days. I was on our pull-out sofa, and she would give me pills. She would give me food and water. I don't remember showering. I don't remember anything. I just remember sleeping the whole time until it was over.
You took a bath. You soaked in the tub a couple times.
And I remember I was teaching magic classes at a school for troubled kids, and I just knew that I could teach class with that stent in. And I asked the doctor, I said, "Can people go to work and do stuff like this?" They said, "Yeah, we put stents in all the time. People go to work. Everything's fine." Okay. And I tried to get dressed, and it hurt so bad, my body started shaking. And I think I tried 20 minutes. And I called the school, and I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah, you.
And I said,
your voice was shaky.
I've been trying. I just can't get dressed.
I try to get dressed and I can't do it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll figure something out. He's over apologizing. Like, it's okay. We get it. We understand. Lord, I don't know why you were even trying to come in. And he was like, I really wanted to come in.
I don't want to miss shows.
Okay.
I never want to miss a show. This wasn't a show. This was just a magic class for kids. But to me, I considered it a show, and I felt really, really disappointing people that I didn't show up.
But they understood, and they were totally fine with it.
Anyway, so that's some disaster stories. That's working through sickness and being in show business.
Yeah.
And people say the show must go on. Why must the show go on? Well, the simple truth is it's our job.
Yeah.
That's really all it is.
If the show doesn't go on, one, basic, we don't get paid.
Right.
We don't get paid, there's bills that don't get paid. So that's basic. Number two, it's been scheduled for how long, and people are planning their lives around it to come out, possibly bought tickets for the show, and then you cancel and they have to refund all that money, and people have already made plans. If it's last minute, they've got babysitters, things like that. And it's just, I
know what it takes for somebody to go to a show, and I don't want to do that to people.
Yeah, you know what it takes to now get 3 kids out the door.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It's added time to get ready to leave the house. It takes longer, and so to then cancel on people, you just can't. If you can do it, you just got to do it. And sometimes it has not been fun.
I mean, Natalie had to work when her grandma died.
Yeah,
the funeral.
I missed her funeral. That really upset me because I really wanted to go, but scheduling just didn't work out.
I have a friend of mine this week. Next Saturday. She's turning 90 years old. And I love this lady like a mom, like a grandma, however you want to say it. I love this lady with all my heart. And when she turned 80, they had a big party. And they invited me. And I couldn't go because I had shows. Well, now she's turning 90. They're having a semi-sized party. It's family. And we're invited to this thing. Our governor's real strict with the COVID restraints. So maybe 10 people. I don't know. But the thing is, we have one show, I don't know, in 2 weeks, in those 2 weeks, in that 2-week period.
And that's the night we have a show.
And it's dinner time when she has her party. So they're doing their party like from 6 to 8, and I'm working at that Lafayette from 6 to 8. So, but
it is what it is. That's just life. So we'll have to, you know what? We get a private celebration.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's even better.
But we
get her all to ourselves.
But in show business, you don't get sick time. You don't get paid time off. You don't get paid vacations. But you also get the good points. You get to do what you love for a living. You get to make your own schedule. If you want to take a vacation in July, if you want to take that gamble and miss those shows and do that, take your vacation in July. It's your schedule. You can make it however you want.
Yeah.
Natalie, for her parents' 50th? No, it wasn't 50. 25?
30.
30th anniversary. She blocked out the schedule on our calendar and said,
20?
Okay, we're doing a party.
30?
We did it. You don't even remember.
It's 30. It must have been 30.
But anyway, she blocked out the schedule, and we blocked out the day and told everybody else we had gigs that day, and our schedule was full and booked around it.
Yeah.
So we're able to do stuff like that.
That was fun. We totally surprised them and lied our faces off.
Well, I was working at a resort, and I told them that, one of the prizes was all expense paid dinner at a fancy restaurant.
For 4.
Near them, which was 2.5 hours away, which was just real convenient. Would you like to go with us?
They were like, wow, yeah, sure.
And this is before Lana.
Yeah, so we got it all set up and went down there early that day and set everything up in their party room and decorated and got a cake that looked like their wedding cake as best we could. And invited all our family to come. And
they felt bad for us because we told them we had that coupon for a free meal and that the waitress took us to the back room. And they were
they're like, oh, they're hiding you because you got a coupon. We're like, oh, no, it's okay. Maybe it's just, private seats or something. I don't know. So we go back there and open the door and surprise! They were very surprised. I was proud of us doing that.
But that was
fun.
All your cousins were there and your aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was probably 50 people in that party.
It's a good amount of people.
But they told us they felt bad for us because they were like, wow, they might be giving you a free meal, but they're making you sit in the kitchen. That was weird. But anyway.
But yeah, so the point of that is we could schedule that day off and know that we weren't going to be called into work last minute to do something because we make our own schedule. So that was fun.
So that's us talking about disaster stories and working through all that. Anyway, next subject I was going to tell you guys about was our TV show, Wes Iseli's Magiclife. Season 2 is now airing on Jewel TV. Kinda.
Yeah, well, they're starting it off. They're doing the last 2 episodes. So last week they started, and they started with the last 2 episodes of season 1. So then this week is going to be the last episode of season 1, and then next week is going to be brand new season 2, episode 1.
See, when we were talking to them, they said, all right, season 2 is going to start February 24th. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we told everybody, season 2 starts February 24th. Mm-hmm. And then later on in different meetings, they were like, well, it is, but we're running the 2 episodes from last season first. And it's like, But
yeah.
Why did I tell everybody 24th?
Yeah. But that's okay. It is what it is. So if you missed those 2 episodes, tune into those 2 episodes. And then next week will be the first episode, season 2. First episode.
And right now we're busy filming promos. Lana isn't a fan of promos, but she's doing it like a champ.
Yeah.
She's doing it, but she's...
Little fun things that go out before the episode. They hear those a week before the episode.
But they're 30 seconds.
Yeah. And she's just... Because we each usually have something to say. And so we do a few at a time. So then she's trying to remember a line, and then she's trying to remember a different line, 2 minutes later. And she's funny. She wants to get it over with. So she says it all fast. And we're like, whoa, slow down.
I want to play video games. I want to play on my iPad.
Yeah. It's like, well, it's going to take longer if you talk like that.
We know what you're saying, but nobody else has a clue.
Right.
So, anyway.
But she does good. She's a good sport being on there. And then she's like, well, how come my brothers aren't on these? And we're like, because in the episodes coming up, your brothers aren't born yet. When we get to the episodes where they're born, they'll probably be in these. Okay, fine. So why does she have to go through it and they don't? I think it's pretty funny.
Okay, they can't talk yet, Lana.
Right, but
they don't have speaking roles.
That's all right.
So
they can still hang out and be bored just like her, I guess.
That's what she wants. Misery loves company. She
exactly.
wants somebody going through it with her.
Yeah.
And we're way ahead of filming. Last year, we had all 16 episodes turned in to them prior to week 1 airing. And I worked around the clock to get that done. It was
stressed out, yeah.
Well, I had a real TV show on a real network that was wanting me to edit it and wanting me. They liked my editing. They were. And you were was very complimentary,
but you weren't sure how much of sticklers they were going to be.
It made me want to step up my game and quadruple check every little edit I made.
Yeah. And then to find out they just want them, a couple at a time, a couple weeks early, They don't need all 16 at once by week 1. So that's made life easier this go round though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I want this season to, even in a pandemic, I want it to be fun, you know? When I first created the Wes Iseli's Magiclife, it was because we had just gotten off of working on the television show The Carbonaro Effect. And everybody asking us, oh, what was it like behind the scenes? What was it like there? What was it like there? We do shows like the British Embassy or, the MGM Grand Resort, or there's millionaires that were working for with ice sculptures and Cirque du Soleil dancers.
Yeah.
We did that show at that beauty pageant in Richmond.
Yeah.
Where all the little kids were walking the thing. And
so cute.
yeah, some of them were strutting. Some of the boys were strutting. Some of them were trying to be a rap star while they were walking down there. Yeah.
It was adorable.
But we didn't have that on film. And we're telling everybody these stories. We're like, I feel like we're missing out that we're not recording them.
Yeah.
So we started recording them, and that's how we started our show. And it's been awesome. But we have nothing to record now. It's a pandemic. Every day's like Groundhog Day, and I don't want the show to be that way.
We've recorded a few things here and there. Obviously more than what you thought, because you have plenty of footage to work with.
I have a lot of footage.
So, I mean, yeah. And you got things coming up. I mean, we recorded over Christmas and Lana's birthday, and we'll have to do, Easter and things.
And we have your me finding out I won Fool Us, me finding out I did that in quarantine. Even though it's in season 1, that happened during quarantine. If you know what I mean.
Oh, the viewing party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had the baby shower party.
Yeah.
Then we had the gender reveal party.
Yeah. We had the boys.
Halloween wasn't much. I don't have any footage of Halloween.
Yeah, we have going to the hospital with the boys. We have some of that, and I don't know if you did much in the hospital or not, but I know actually giving birth, you can't.
I did a Magiclife episode of it, but not a Jewel TV episode. So I can edit that and put that in there.
That's what I'm saying. You have that, and we have footage of the boys and of a little bit of Halloween, but we talked about it after Halloween. We were like,
I go back to make a video. I'm making a video about Halloween, and there's no footage.
There's no footage. And I was like, well, I was waiting for people to show up.
It was awful.
I don't know if people were just, it wasn't a worse crackdown, but I guess it was getting a little colder at that point, and people were getting a little more nervous about COVID at that point. And then they'd seen a lot of us throughout the year with the gender reveal and the viewing party and the baby shower. And plus now we had 2 babies. Maybe people just didn't want to come over because they thought it would be screaming babies the whole time. I don't know. But it wasn't.
Right.
And
so
we had fun, but it was a way more intimate party than it normally is.
We invited like 30 people, and I think 11 showed up, counting us.
And I was just
waiting.
Is
that what, counting us?
Possibly. And I was just waiting for more people to show up to
pull out the camera.
Videos of people's costumes and things like that. And we waited so long, people started leaving. And then the party was over, and we were like, oops. Yeah. So we had a great time. I really had a lot of fun. The people that came, it was a blast having them. But it was different because normally there's so many more people.
And we're in a pandemic, and money's tight and everything. But I told Natalie, I said, we need the footage for the show. It'll be great. And we always have like $500 worth of food and candy and beer and stuff just for everybody to come on out.
That's the cost of everything, including costumes
as well.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we don't need to spend that money this year. We just have newborn babies. I'm like, honey, it's not about the money. It's about the memories for the kids, having the pictures and all of that. It'll be great.
Yeah, and he got me with...
And then we do all of that.
There's no trick-or-treating. Lana's not going to be trick-or-treating. There's no show, so she's not going to be trick-or-treating even at a show. You got to have a memory of this Halloween. Fine.
And plus, I had a great costume.
No.
I did. I was Teller. Natalie was
Penn. I feel very pretty.
Natalie was tall with a goatee.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd done some little blonde streaks in my hair to look like Teller. And Lana was Allison from Fool Us. And the boys, since they're twins, one's the face of a $50, one's the tails of a $50. And we just gave them a white onesie with a big, paper printout of a Kennedy $50. One was heads, one was tails. And that was our costume. And Penn Jillette loved it.
Yeah.
He tweeted us and said, you guys are getting to be my favorite people. And I guess our understudy problem is solved.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. That made it all worthwhile. But during the party, I found myself several times excusing people, saying, I'm sorry that nobody's here. And as I'm saying those words, and I said it a couple times, I'm actually telling that person he's a nobody. Yeah. I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, there's usually so many more people here.
I'm sorry nobody showed up. And I'm walking to 11 different people telling them, I'm sorry nobody showed up. I'm here.
Yeah. Like, not that you're nobody. It's just, there's not as many. But we had a lot of fun. We still had a lot of fun. The only downside was we were asking people, please take some of this food.
Yeah.
Because it was way too much. And it was a lot of junk food. And they're like, oh, but you have new babies. You'll eat it. We can't eat cake and cupcakes 3 meals a day. Please take some food.
And we made chili for 30 people.
Yeah.
And I did. I ate chili
Yeah.
for 5 or 7 days straight.
Yeah, I had to give it all to Wes because I found out very quickly that beans and the boys don't mix well.
It made their stomachs hurt.
Yeah, so I can't have chili.
So anyway, we were
it was
talking
all
about...
up to Wes to eat that big vat of chili.
I did my best. And then I ended up still giving... I ate it for like 5 or 7 days for just maybe lunch and dinner. And I still ended up giving a lot of it to the chickens.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
we were talking about the TV show.
Oh, we were talking about recording for the
Yeah.
TV show. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we have a little bit of Halloween, but not much.
So another thing they wanted us to do this year, they're building in some reruns.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yes, it is. But last season you didn't have anything to rerun, so.
Well, they could have rerun episode 1 after episode 6.
Yeah, I guess so.
Something
Because
like
they're
that.
going to rerun season 2 episodes, aren't they? Isn't that what they're doing?
Yeah. So season 2 starts in February, and this year will be running through July. So that seems like a long season for 16 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is great for advertising, and
Yeah.
the show's on the air the entire time. So
Yeah.
it's fantastic. Our publicist, Jessica, is supposed to be coming to our house for a week sometime soon. But
March or April.
We've been talking about it since January.
She can't decide. She's like, I'll come in January. No, I'll come in February. Well, how about the end of March? What about April?
She said
So
she doesn't want to come out here when it's...
2021. I'm not sure.
She doesn't want to come to Virginia because she lives in L.A. She doesn't want to come to Virginia when it's snowing because she doesn't have anything to wear. But she wants to come out here to film her television show. And she says, well, I heard that the snow season's over by April 15th.
No, March 18th.
March 18th. I don't know where she got that from.
I don't know either.
But I'm like, no, Natalie's birthday is April 15th, and it snowed a lot on her birthday several years. That's a landmark remembrance. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it snowed before April 15th and around that as well.
Yeah, I'm like, the weather just doesn't decide one day, oh, it's March 18th when it's not going to snow anymore. That doesn't happen. Sometimes it snows late in the year. You just can't tell.
And then she's like, and I said, well, and she said, well, I'll come in April. Well, she said, it'll be nice then, won't it? The first thing that came to my mind, April showers bring May flowers.
Right.
And she said, well, I've heard that all my life too, but I live in L.A. There's no rain. Well, honey.
There's rain here.
There's rain here. Well, will summer be better?
Lord,
I can't tell you there won't be a rain.
No, but I'm saying I hope it's not going to be better. I'm hoping we're too busy in the summertime to have you out. I'm hoping we got shows.
But I can't tell you a week in and then I told her about county fairs, and the Albemarle County Fair went out of business because they kept changing their dates in summer, and then they'd have like
torrential
a
downpour.
monsoon come through, and it would ruin the whole week, and they went out of business. You don't know what week is going to rain or not. But
Right.
she wants to, I can't tell you about her show, but she's coming out here to film her show with the babies. And she's going to try to give the babies a bath and try to get the babies dressed. And
Right. And is she an only child or just the youngest?
she is I think she must be an only child. I'm not saying that bad, but she's got to be.
An only child or the youngest. So there's no babies, below her. And then she said all her cousins were either older than her or right around her age. Like she's young enough that she doesn't remember anybody in diapers or anything. So she doesn't really have baby experience. So she'd like to have baby experience. I'm like, okay. But the further she pushes it off, the less baby-like they're going to be.
Right. When they're running around the house, that's not an infant. So anyway, like I said, I can't talk about her show, but she wants to change the diapers and help give baths and do mom things to learn about it and to try to, because she hasn't been around babies.
Yeah.
And she said, maybe we can do a scene where I cook for them. And I said, Jessica, you really don't understand. If you put my wife's boobs on the stove, you're going home early. It's not going to work.
You're on the next flight out.
And then she's like, oh, so they don't eat out of the bottle at all? Jessica, why would she eat out of a bottle? They're breastfed.
Yeah. I mean, I can give them a bottle, but I'm saving that for when I absolutely need it.
A rainy day.
Yeah. So it's not... Yeah. Now, if she pushes it out far enough, they'll be over 6 months, and maybe she can feed them a little bit of mush, baby food. But I mean,
and that still might be good. But when they can't hold their head up, and that's a baby.
Yeah.
When they're toddling around and crawling, that's a different stage. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not the overwhelming part.
They're already rolling over, and they're already they're holding their heads up real well. They can't sit up on their own yet, but they are definitely working on it. And they will, if you hold them, they will stand on their legs. Now you have to balance them. They can't obviously balance themselves. They're not pulling up or anything like that, but they'll stand there between your hands, and they'll sit up if they're propped up. They can hold themselves up propped up, but the second whatever pillow you have propping them up moves, they're going down.
Down.
So they can't sit up on their own yet, but they're getting there. And it wouldn't surprise me if, as much as they move around, and when they do lay on their tummies and move their legs around, there was one last night, I can't remember which one of them, but last night I put them down and had them on a tummy time mat that has water in it, and you can slap it and the fish inside move around. And I don't know, one of them, whichever one it was, moved his legs in a way that scooted him forward. And I was like, oh my goodness, he didn't do it again. Not again. Just that one accidental time. But I was like, oh, it's coming. So and that's the start of it all. So they're 5 months old now, which is hard to believe. It's in one way, it seems like we've had them forever. I guess that's the sleepless nights make it seem longer. And in another way, it seems like it was just yesterday that we brought them home. But they're sleeping a lot better. Thank you, Jesus, at nighttime. Except for last night. Last night was rough. Last night was just about like when we brought them home. I was tired. But for the most part, they're doing really well. They'll go about 6 or 7 hours from the beginning of the last feeding before they go to bed to the beginning of needing to eat again.
And it's funny because it seems like yesterday we brought him home. We were sitting here talking with your belly all big, and talking about being pregnant and what's it going to be like without him. And then I'm doing promo for season 2, and I'm going back and showing us hold the babies in the hospital, and it's amazing how big they've gotten. Oh, they look just like in the blink of an eye.
And they look like completely different people.
They look like little boys.
Yeah, they do.
They don't look like babies anymore.
Yeah. So it's sad. When I had to move them up from newborn to 0 to 3 month clothes, that was around Christmas. I moved them to 0 to 3 month clothes. I was a little sad. I packed up the clothes and I donated them because we're not planning on having any more kids, so I don't need to keep those clothes around. And I kind of had a tear roll down my cheek because it was sad. It was like, this is the last time I will ever have a baby in newborn clothes. And it's over. And it was just made me a little upset.
Well,
not saying I want any more.
No.
I'm just saying it's a milestone.
You're not allowed to have any more. You can want all you want.
The way you looked at me and you sighed, I'm like, I'm not saying I want any more. I'm done. I'm just saying that is a milestone in my life as a mom that I will never have another baby.
You can want all you want.
In newborn clothes. Yeah, unless it's an
accident. No. You can want all you want. Accident or not, whatever.
I don't want, but if it's an accident, that's an accident.
Hey, now's a good time to say, if you're enjoying our podcast, please leave a review on your favorite platform. Give us a star rating, hopefully a 5. Let everybody know how much you're enjoying this. Tell your friends. Our podcast is doing really great. But I'm going out there and looking at all these different things, and they're saying that, ratings really help podcasts and help them grow and help them expand. Guys, just take 2 seconds and give us a rating. Let us know what you think. And if it's negative, send me an email. Let me know what we can do to fix it. Let me know. We're in this together, guys. I want to make your commute to work or your time at the gym more fun. So anyway, also we have 2 YouTube channels. I have, if you just type in Wes Iseli, 2 different pictures will come up. One's a black and white photo and one's a color photo. The color photo is just me doing magic, just different magic clips from, I don't know, since 2008 of YouTube being around. And the other one is just all Magiclife videos. So subscribe to both of them or check those out. We also have all of our podcasts are on YouTube. So you can go back and look at them there as well. It's just a picture of the guest and us talking. And I've started a podcast clip show. So if you ever look at one of our podcasts and say, I have no idea who that person is, it doesn't interest me, maybe that little clip might want you to listen to the full episode, or maybe that little clip will inspire you or whatever. So sometimes there's little nuggets in these hour-long shows that we pull out and just put them in there. And the clip show is a lot of fun for me as well. Fun way to look back.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming up on our podcast, we have Ray Lum scheduled. Ray Lum is an illusion builder in LA. If you've ever heard of Piff the Magic Dragon, he makes all of his stuff. Kevin James, the amazing Kevin James, he makes all of his stuff. He works on Copperfield's equipment. Ray Lum, he says he makes the Lamborghini of magic illusions. Sure, you can go out there and get a Pinto and have somebody cheaply make you something, but if you want something that's going to look great and function and don't have to worry about it breaking down, Ray is the man. And we're going to have him on. He's right out of Vegas, and he's awesome. Josh Janowski is a close-up magician, friend of mine. Phenomenal magician, and I met him at a magic convention, and he was awesome. I fell in love with the dude, and he was so young and so talented. And then he tells me he's got a real job, and he's excited. He's going to Canada, and he's got a real job. And I literally, my heart sunk. I'm like, oh no, a real job? And then come to find out his real job was working for Disney. And since he's up there in Disney, he's working for Marvel, and he's worked on all these Marvel movies. And he's worked on Dr. Dolittle with, who's Iron Man? What's Iron Man's name? I always forget it.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr., he worked on that one. The Dr. Dolittle with Robert Downey Jr., he worked on, he'll tell you all about it. But the dude's working on Marvel movies and still creating magic. He's got a TikTok account that's blowing up, and Josh Janowski's awesome dude. Also, we have Sean Farquhar. He is a FISM winner. He fooled Penn and Teller twice. Awesome magician from Canada. He's scheduled. Natalie, you have a friend coming up next week.
Yeah, her name's Madeline, and she is a fitness lady, personal trainer, I do believe. She started a Facebook group that I joined. She has triplets, and so she started a Facebook group for fitness for moms of multiples. So I joined that, and Wes was really interested in having somebody with that kind of knowledge be on the podcast. So she's going to be on next week. So that'll be fun. That'll be neat to talk to somebody with that kind of expertise, and the fact that she also has multiples it will be interesting to hear how she deals with all that and gets time to work out. Although I guess it's her job, so maybe her wife can she can say how she has time to work out.
Lana just brought the babies to us saying they're getting cranky. It's towards the end of our podcast, but when you said it'll be interesting, and Lex just went I don't know if that was on microphone or not, but pretty cute, Lex. Also, we have Tom Julian scheduled. He's the owner of Jewel TV. I don't have a date with him yet, but he's already given me a thumbs up, yes. So in April sometime, that's all we know. But we have a lot more surprises in the works. I have my fingers in a couple different pies. And I want to get some other people on here, not just magicians, but I'm going to get motivational people on here. We're going to get social media people. We're going to get marketing people, all kinds of different people on here. But we're going to keep with the magic theme as well. So maybe those offshoots will only be, sorry guys, maybe the offshoots will only be once a month. Also, I guess we'll wrap this thing up. Babies are getting cranky. Time to eat. This Saturday, March 6th, I'll be performing at the Lafayette Inn in Ruckersville,
Standardsville.
restaurant in Standardsville. From 6 to 8 p.m., I'll be going from table to table performing close-up magic, and they will provide you a 4-course meal in a truly magical evening. This event usually sells out, so don't wait. And if you're traveling from out of town, ask about staying the night at the inn. Space is limited, so reserve your spot today. It may already be sold out. Like I said, it sells out quick, so if you're interested, call now. Check them out at thelafayette.com. And tonight on Jewel TV, like I said, like Natalie said, they're re-airing episode 16 from season 1 called The Magic of Magiclife. And if you haven't checked out Jewel TV yet, it's on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Jewel TV app, and tons of other places. It's in over 100 million households. If you can't find it, just look for it. You can find it. And plus, the app is free, guys. Download that app on Android or iPhone. It's free and it's easy, and you can get my episodes with a click of a button. So, absolutely free. See you next week. Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by Express Copy and Graphics. Mention promo code Wes Iseli to get 10% off. Their website is expresscopy.com. That's XPRESS-COPY.com. They do it all. Copies, banners, signs, vehicle wraps, promo items, practically anything you need printed, they can do it for you. These guys are great. Check them out. Check us out online at wesiseli.com and patreon.com/Wes_Iseli for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled WESISELI.